go. So this is going to be the air signs reading for this week. And as such, this week I'm using the Mystical Creatures deck by Angela Izzo, who has done a lot of photography for the channel. A lot of the pictures that I have up on the channel, and you'll notice on my About page, that's who the photo credit goes to. On Friday, I'm going to be going back over to Topanga Canyon, and I'll be reading for the gallery show. Excuse me. I beg your pardon. Over on the member side of the channel tonight, I'm going to be doing some smoke scrying using this stick of cassia bark. It's pretty stubby now, but I think it'll last the amount of time I need it to. I have another deck for clarification. It's just my Stranger and Stranger deck and my Grasshopper playing card deck combined. So let's start with the sign of Gemini. Gemini, sun, moon, rising, Venus. Maybe you want to see what's going on with your Gemini that you have in your 5th house or your North Node. Have a Gemini North Node. Go ahead, Gemini, and set your intention for the reading. And just allow those ideas to kind of percolate around in your mind. Just let them wander. I do apologize that there's like a musical performance going on at the bar on the other side of the apartment building. So you might hear the bass frequencies carrying through. All right, so Gemini, you're coming out very strong in your reading. This is your card in the Major Arcana. It has to do with dualities. It has to do with reconciling that which we desire with that which is sustainable and that which is going to benefit the situation overall. So you could see this also as a love relationship. Maybe if I could get it to focus. Sorry. Okay. There we go. This could also have to do with a love relationship. But you are Gemini also showing up in your own reading. Death reversed. When the Death card comes out reversed like this, you're looking at a change that is on the precipice of occurring, maybe something that needs to change desperately. But it's a fear of wanting to get out of one's comfort zones. It's kind of like the Hanged Man progression, right? Such that The Hanged Man is that stuck place you occupy right before the transformation takes place. The Death card in the reverse could also be speaking to a transformation which has recently resolved itself. So you, Gemini, might be doubling down within your power, actually following a massive transformation, such as one would see with the Death card. I'm going to pull out my other deck and clarify these first two cards, see if we can get any more information about this particular situation. Yes. Okay. And then I'm going to cut to the Queen of Diamonds in this deck because she's always peeking out. I'll show you. I'll show you when I find her. Yeah, here we go. On the other side of this particular card, one side is the Queen of Diamonds and the other side is the Eight of Spades. So I like to put the Queen of Diamonds side up. And then I'm going to take the first three cards from beneath the Queen of Diamonds. So, clarifying, we have within the structure of the lovers that it's slightly unbalanced. One person is much more into it than the other, but that both parties are invested in the situation. So it's not that the other person doesn't want it at all. It's just they're much less invested. And this can have to do with a love relationship, of course. But you can also think about this in terms of your own personality, right? So there might be contrasting parts of the personality, and you're not totally not like this, but you're mostly like this, if that makes sense. We have the Ten of Hearts and the Jack of Clubs coming out as well. So emotional fulfillment coming through at this time with that Lover's card. We also have this Jack of Clubs, which is about passion. It can be about new physical attraction to somebody, or a new erotic attraction rather than a romantic attraction. Sometimes the romantic attraction is there too, but it's not like a Jack of Hearts or a King of Hearts. It's a Jack of Wands. Can be indicating too that there is emotional fulfillment here. There's also a youth and vitality. These two cards are a bit of an enigma. We have the Five of Swords here, the Five of Spades. This could reinforce that ending, that something's coming to an end. It could also be that there is something toxic about the situation. Or that there is conflict or strife. The fives are very difficult energetically. And then the Seven of Hearts, I believe, yes. So this character presents itself as very harmless and cute. And it may very well be such. but it's very difficult to tell. It's got this cow skull for a head, and its costume, it's able to pull out into this kind of shapeless form that hides its true nature. So, some very interesting things coming through in your reading so far, Gemini. Let's get back to the mystical creatures. Oh, and I kind of forgot to put the timestamp for Gemini. That's okay. I'll just guess, and then I'll figure it out from there. And Gemini, if you have any thoughts or any ideas about the reading so far, please feel free. Even if you're watching after the fact, put it in the live chat, put it in the comments. I always love to hear how you guys feel about the readings. And the feedback, in theory, could travel backward and forward through time. So perhaps if you leave me feedback in the present, I will be receiving the information when it's necessary. Perhaps. And we have another air sign card coming out for you, Gemini, the Justice card. And the Justice card has to do with bringing things into balance. So it can be about a court case, for sure. Can be about situations where maybe a roommate owes back rent and they pay the back rent. Kind of like these mundane situations sometimes come up. Hi, Jared. How have you been? It's good to see you. And of course, the Justice card is also Libra's energy in the major arcana. I'm glad to hear you're doing better. With the Justice card, we have the Magician. This is a really beautiful card. Love the colors in this one. The Magician is somebody who is capable of manifesting the outcome they desire. So it's entirely possible that this justice, this equalization that you're bringing into your life is through manifestation work. Oh, that's okay, Jared. I appreciate the heads up. We also have the Empress coming out. So the Empress is the divine passive energy. She is somebody who allows things to come in to her and thus is cared for. Now this is coming out. The Empress has correspondence with the planet Venus, so is related through the Libra connection to justice. So this could have been a situation where you only needed to sit back and wait and allow everything to unfold. There would have been some manifestation early on, and then just allowing it to fall into place. I hope you tell your parents good things about me. I usually tell kids not to talk to their parents about me. not for any particular reason. Excuse me. Let's pull some more cards from the Mystical Creatures deck. Kind of put them together in some tableaus. Looks like everything's going pretty well for you recently, Gemini, according to the reading, of course. We have the Temperance card in the reverse. Now, this is Sagittarius's card, so this would be your card in the reverse, theoretically, as Sagittarius is your oppositional sign. So what are we looking at here? Looking at the Lovers as the set point for Temperance reversed. With the Lovers, we're looking at balancing what is right with what it is that we want. And so with the Temperance card reversed, there might be, so we've got, the Justice card. The balancing part of that might be just fine. But the Temperance card is about like the fine tuning of it. Really honing in on one's nature. You can stay married to somebody for a very long time if you're able to keep things balanced. But sometimes what can pull a relationship apart is not the lack of balance, but the lack of understanding. And this is true for a lot of situations where you have either vastly diametrically opposed points, or you have two themes that are just slightly out of sync with each other, such that they're not fully unified. I'm going to pull some more cards from my Canasta deck. And just a few more, really. Let me find that Queen of Diamonds back again. Oh, let's see. The Queen of Diamonds. Here she is. I'm going to take like these 5 cards. And that might be all that we need to close out this reading. Let's just see and find out. So we have King, a Queen, and then a 6, 7, 8. The King we have is the King of Wands. Could be a fire sign energy. It's somebody who's got a creative spark and uses that to be an effective leader. The Queen of Spades, as you can see, kind of a dark energy. Very much ruthless and conniving energy, potentially as well. Specific to this particular deck. A lot of times the Queen of Spades is just like the Queen of Swords. Somebody who is promoting their own truths. So here we have the 6, the 7, and the 8. You started out in a situation where you're having to scrape very hard, work very hard to make money. Almost like selling one's teeth for money or something like that. When you get money from the tooth fairy. We have the 7 of Cups, 7 of Hearts. This could also be Rubeus, because we have this formation like Rubeus. But the 7 of Cups being all of these different options that are open at this time. Potentially because of these figures in your life. These could be parents, they could be people for whom you are employed or by whom you're employed. It could even be archetypal opposing energies being combined in a certain way. Somebody who's very charismatic, but can also be a little bit ruthless and manipulative from time to time. The light and the dark balancing out. And then the 8 of Wands. So there's going to be some kind of closure, some kind of ending that's had. It's going to be swift and it's going to be tied up with a nice little bow. And it might have to do with this emotional fulfillment as well. So that is going to conclude the Gemini reading for this week. I do want to remind you that I'm using the Mystical Creatures deck by Izzo. I've put a link down in the description to an article about the show, and I think that you'll be able to find everything through that. I do recommend this deck highly. It feels really good in your hands. It's got a nice gilt edge on it. All right, so now we're going to move on to the sign of Libra. And Libra, if you would like, kind of set your intention for the reading and kind of just allow your mind to wander around that particular topic, that particular set of ideas and structures. Allow them to wander through your mind and be sifted down into a fine paste and combined with your cerebrospinal fluid and just let that circulate through your lymphatic system. Okay. And I will put a timestamp for a Libra. First card that I've pulled for you in this reading, Libra, is the High Priestess reversed. And we should talk about the High Priestess in the context of Libra. There's not a link through correspondence necessarily. So the High Priestess is the luminary, the moon, in the major arcana. The moon card is actually Pisces card. And the High Priestess is associated with the moon and can be thus attached to other water energies, other lunar energies. Sometimes when this card comes out reversed, it indicates that there are secrets that are being revealed at this time. So that's possible for you right now, Libra. The High Priestess is also somebody who kind of hangs between the two different worlds. So similar somewhat to the balance associated with your sign, Libra. Also kind of to do with the Hanged Man energy, both very solitary. So perhaps some shared traits between the High Priestess in reverse and the Hanged Man. The next card that I'm pulling out for you, Libra, is a fellow air sign card. We have the Star, and this card is in the upright. So this is Aquarius's card, and sometimes can have to do with the social groups into which we thrust ourselves. And when this card is upright, it indicates that hopes and dreams are being fulfilled. Sometimes that can be occurring because of the situations that we're putting ourselves in. It's all about who you know, not what you know necessarily. So possibly a secret comes out, and this leads to some kind of hopes and dreams being fulfilled. This would be a little bit different from wish fulfillment. Wish fulfillment can be things like that you want, that are tangible sometimes, or specific scenarios, whereas like hopes and dreams are like these larger goals. Just to give you a context for how I kind of delineate that. But of course, all very similar. Now, I'm going to pull some clarifiers about these first two cards because it could be a lot of different things. This is a general reading for sure, but we can narrow it down a little bit, I think. Okay. And I'm just going to peel some cards off the top. I won't look for the Queen of Diamonds this time. So we got some people here, and then we got some other situations going on. Sure enough, we do have the Nine of Hearts coming out, so this is a wish fulfillment. So the Star card could be certainly a wish fulfillment coming through. And that would kind of broaden the scope, if you would. We have the Jack of Hearts. This could be a love offer coming in, or an offer of some other kind. Jack of Hearts would be potentially emotionally based energies coming towards you. Somebody might be very excited about what you're doing. We have the Queen of Spades coming back out again, Libra, now in your reading. So this could be like the Queen of Swords, but as I mentioned before, specific to this deck, has kind of darker connotations. Perhaps somebody who is a bit conniving, somebody who could manipulate situations for their own benefit. We have the Four of Hearts. This is all about being willing and able to put yourself out there, even at risk of overexposure or embarrassment. And that is showing up in the reading with the Seven of Clubs, which is this family being attacked by a swarm of bees. But despite the fact that they are all under attack, they're under attack together. Basically, there's going to be wish fulfillment coming in with an offer. But potentially there's a situation where there's like secrets that are coming out and being revealed, and that could be that High Priestess. The High Priestess with the Queen of Swords. Potentially somebody is speaking their truth, and that involves spilling the beans, spilling the tea. And so there's all this consternation then that is potentially caused by this. There's the potential for embarrassment or overexposure is there as well. But these two things, I don't know if they're like splitting like this. I think these are part of the same situation. And so you're being encouraged to disclose things that it's going to be messy for a while, but it's going to end up being a wish fulfillment. So be careful what you're disclosing. Right, Libra, let me pull some more of these cards. We've got you coming out in your own reading. I'm shuffling the cards back in because it's a major arcana only deck. And so I wanted to make sure that I have enough cards to really pull from. But we have you coming out as the Justice card in your own reading. This potentially could indicate that you are getting justice in a situation which before you might have felt like you were disadvantaged or that things were unbalanced. This is coming out with Strength reversed. This is Leo's card in the Major Arcana. It's going to indicate that you maybe don't need to fight something. The Strength card reversed. Maybe there are ways in which you need to pick your battles where this justice situation is concerned, because it looks like everything is going to work out for the best, how people want it to occur. All right, and pull some more clarifiers about these couple of cards. Let me pull a couple more cards out of here, actually. Yeah, I'll pull them two at the same time. So we have the Emperor But this is coming out with the Hanged Man. The Emperor is all about having control over one's existence in life and having sovereignty over one's existence, but the Hanged Man then being stuck in a certain energy or a need to self-sacrifice in order to move forward. Yeah, with that Queen of Swords here, with that the Queen of Spades and the Four of Hearts, that you are in control, but there's also this potential for embarrassment or potential for impropriety. Maybe impropriety is a better term for it. You can see all my boys in the background. This is Archie, and this is Samantha, and this is Abe. All right, Libra, let me excavate the Queen. Here she is. Maybe like these few cards in front of the Queen this time. Okay. So the Three of Hearts, there's a loyalty in friendships is expressed by this card. So maybe the Strength card is coming out reversed, partially because you don't need to be strong. You've got reinforcements around you. We have another Rubaeus card, which is the Seven of Pentacles. You can see it looks like this way it would look like Albus, and this way it would look like Rubaeus. And also keep in mind that these are the red suits. So the Seven of Pentacles is all about evaluating what energies you're putting into a situation, balanced versus what you're getting out. So sometimes when the Seven of Pentacles comes out, sometimes I call it the Quit Your Job card. We have the Art of Play card, which indicates that you need to be focusing on doing things that you enjoy. The Seven of Spades, things are going to be falling away. Things that no longer serve you are going to be falling away, just like the leaves changing with the seasons. It is also the time of year when the leaves will be changing. And what might be falling away is harshness, severity, and authoritarian ideals. That's kind of what this Nine of Diamonds means in this deck. In other decks, of course, the Nine of Diamonds could be the single lady card, right? But in this particular deck, that's how I read it, because of the boot. So that's going to conclude the Libra reading for this week. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to move on now to the sign of Aquarius. Remember also that I'll be going after this video is concluded over to the member side of the channel to do some smoke scrying with this piece of cassia bark. If that interests you, you're cordially invited, but your presence here on the channel is greatly appreciated in whatever form it takes. Who would have thought? Would have thought indeed for you, Aquarius. All right, so put your hair down, Rapunzel, if you may. I'm gonna shuffle the cards. And I'm going to think about the Halloween festivities we have coming up. It's my roommate's birthday on Halloween. My roommate, Kalia, that was in the video with me. So we're gonna go walk on the bridge. All right, and then shuffle these cards. And then I'll stop lollygagging about. I apologize. But you'll probably be watching this later, so you can just skip to the timestamp. All right. This deck doesn't take very long to shuffle anyway. It's a good way to get the information together. All right, Aquarius. So let me put the timestamp here. We have the Hierophant on the bottom of the deck, traditional values, fellow fixed sign energy of Taurus. So it has to do a lot with stability. Polemically speaking, your oppositional element. I'm going to keep that one. Top of the deck, we've got the Empress. That's an interesting pair of archetypes to have come out. We've got the 3 and the 5. The Empress could also be Taurian energy through that Venus connection. The Empress waits for people to bring things to her. And in this way, could be similar to the Hierophant. Typically, the Hierophant is centered around their religious center. Whether that's a church, it could be a temple of some kind. And they also have people come to advise with them rather than them being the ones to travel. The Empress is a very feminine energy. A Hierophant, as a spiritual leader, also exercises a fair amount of influence, but is different from the Emperor, to whom the Empress would be partnered. Now, of course, we're talking about this in alchemical terms. We're not saying anything like that's the ideal marriage or anything like that. We're talking about active and passive as the energies. Almost like a conspiracy is going on, Aquarius. I don't know if this has to do with workplace politics for anyone. Let's see what else we have. All right, so the Emperor is coming out. Now, this could be a marriage. The Hierophant is a card indicating marriage. Traditional values. And we do see traditional values reflected here in the Emperor and the Empress. The implication being that they are partnered and that they are, ruling over the kingdom in the ways which emperors and empresses have done for thousands and thousands of years. I feel like we're not getting the full story here. Perhaps I better clarify with this other deck, and then I'll come back with the mystical creatures. All right, we've got Rubeus coming out with the Jack of Wands. So there's an energy here that there's the passion and enthusiasm, but is it enough to sustain something energetically? And especially where we're looking at the alchemy of the Emperor and the Empress overseeing it as a tangible marriage, such that there can be these disparate parts of our personhood which need to be reconciled. And that if we are dwelling too heavily in traditional energies, we are ignoring the current reality of the situation. And that kind of, either if you're getting fomented about certain things, or somebody could have a very excited idea about something that is not very close to the truth. We do not have the Lady, the Queen of Spades, come out at this time. And in fact, my Queen of Diamonds is flipped over in the deck to that Eight of Spades, which indicates a trapped energy, such as could be trapped by antiquated ideologies. So how do we get unstuck? Let me find the fence. Let me locate the fence on my property. I'm having a hard time finding that card. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm having a hard time locating that Eight of Spades. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I know that this is a 9 of Hearts because the edge is stained from where I took these cards to the beach. But that would indicate a wish fulfillment, potentially. More evidence is needed. So we have the Jack of Spades coming out. This means that you need to get more information about the situation. There's the potential for new financial opportunities to come in. We do have one of the Albus cards. This can be Mercury correspondence. And as the Seven of Wands, it would indicate that you have reached a pinnacle that others envy, and thus they might be out to get you. Yeah, Albus is like science and magic, as balanced against Rubeus, which is it's all about evil. There are sexual connotations too, like Babylon type connotations to that. But it's hard to parse out outside of the context of a reading specifically, because just because something is sexual doesn't make it evil. But there are certain vibrations that there are reasons why those two get categorized together. And this, I think you will need to get more information about. It looks like there's a spiritual offer on the table for you, Aquarius, is kind of what this looks like. That somebody could be offering for you to become like their partner in different workings. There's a security that comes with this, and there's also a lot of pleasure. The King of Diamonds here could be a similar energy to the Hierophant, because both of these potentially could be Taurian energies, have a lot to do with stability and traditional ideas. All right, so let me flip through these mystical creatures and pull a little bit more about it. All right. Yes, the Death card reversed. I saw that while I was shuffling. I was wondering if it would come out. So the Death card reverse could be a change that really, really needs to be made, and especially where we see that with a card with its opposite, rather, the Death card being Scorpio, and the Hierophant card being Taurus. So those are oppositional energies, and they're kind of at odds with each other. As I mentioned, Taurian energy craving stability and security, and then the energy of death being a very transitional energy. We have you coming out in your own reading, Aquarius, showing that you will be exalted by this situation by the time it has come all the way through. And we have the Magician. Now, the Magician can be a card about manifestation, bringing things into one's life that one desires. So that star energy, the Magician energy, is Mercury. So it can be associated with your fellow air sign of Gemini or with the mutable earth sign of Virgo. I think that's all that I have to say for the air sign readings this week. Thank you so much for joining me for the air sign readings. That is Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. I'm gonna go now do some smoke scrying over on the member side of the channel. If that's of interest to you, you are cordially invited, but your presence here on the channel, whether that's just watching, liking, sharing, subscribing, click the little bell so you know when I go live, etc. Letting me know what you think in the comments and the live chat. All of those things are so greatly appreciated. So until next time, I look forward to seeing you very soon.